In a prior video, we looked at the income statement as a place for us to figure out what our different costs are for running the business, our staff, our supplies, and whatnot. And it's good to get that information, but now let's take that information and hold it up to what the generally accepted cost should be for a dental practice. What you see here in this pie chart is the major costs: staff, supplies, lab, and rent. Those are the major areas of overhead for a dental practice. And these numbers represent what most consultants and experts in the field would say is a good target for what the cost should be. So we see that our staff cost is the most significant of our costs. That's about 25%. That includes their entire payroll expenses and any benefit packages. It's the whole thing. That compromises one of our largest costs. Dental supply costs, all of our cotton rolls, all of our composite materials, that all should total up to about 5% of our line item costs. Our dental lab bill for the typical general practice is about 10%. We can see that go up a little bit if we are doing a lot of full arch cases and implant work. And our rent in most parts of the country should come to be about 5% of our expenses. So over here is miscellaneous. This is everything from our lab bills to paying for our malpractice insurance if we run that through the practice. I mean, there's all sorts of expenses that could be put in here depending upon what you and your accountant put through the practice. What's left up here, and this is using the target numbers from our first video where Dr. Levin wants our target overhead to be 59%. This would leave that 41% profit for us to take home. So this is a good roadmap. You certainly may find in the near particular practice that these values need to be a little different, but this is a good starting point for us. So to calculate our line item overhead costs and compare them to the national averages, we simply take the specific line item cost, divide it by our gross income, and multiply that by 100. Let's do that calculation together. Using our simplified profit and loss statement from a prior video, again, our gross income is $600,000, and in our sample here, our dental supply bill was $70,000. Well, I asked the question, is this too much? Is it right on target? Well, if we take 70,000, divide by 600,000 times 100, we're at almost 12%. And as we just said, the national average, national target there is 5%, almost half, right? So this should tell us, now that we're doing a deeper analysis of our overhead, not just the big number, but getting into these specific costs, this tells us that we're having a profitability issue as it relates to our dental supplies. So if we did that analysis on all of our line item costs and found that this is where our practice was, that we were spending maybe double in a particular area, such as supplies, well, then there's no easy solution for how to fix this, and this could be the subject of future videos and certainly plenty of articles on dentaleconomics.com and in the magazine. How do we reduce these costs without sacrificing quality or efficiency or anything like that? But it's still very important analysis. If you see that your staff and your lab, all these other costs are pretty much on point, you can maybe tighten up your miscellaneous a little bit. Maybe you're running a little too much through the practice. But if one of your major costs, your supplies in this example, are about double, then you can start making some more informed decisions about what to do. If, on the other hand, you have multiple expenses that are way out of line, everything is 10% higher, double, whatever, those are an indication that perhaps your practice isn't generating enough revenue overall.